that got horrifically dark so quickly. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact. Oh, this chapter is aptly named, gang. It's aptly named. Golly. Nakaba Suzuki. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Nakaba Suzuki is one of the best current character writers I've seen. Period. And of course, I haven't read that many manga. I'm not that well versed. So obviously, take everything I say with a grain of salt. But let me tell you, he is able to make the most devious and diabolical characters. And at the same time, make me understand them. And that's the big thing I give Nakaba credit for. Because I've seen devious, diabolical, dastardly, demonic characters of all different types in this series and many others. But the way that Nakaba does it, especially in this chapter 181, The Night of Despair, the way Nakaba does it, it like reaches into my head and scratches like that weird part at the back of my brain that like it awakens a portion of sympathy. A teeny tiny portion of sympathy. Everybody in this chapter who makes any sort of actions that isn't our main casting crew or a manipulated version of our main casting crew is absolutely devious and diabolical for what they do and declare. But at the same time, with the little context clues your boy has, I mean, like, I'm not saying, that's the thing. And it is so hard for me to say, because I'm not in any of these character situations. So me, as a moral man, would not do anything that's being done in this chapter by the characters of the Camelot crew. But, let's just say Nakaba, when he wants to get devious with it, oh, he can get devious with it. But of course, let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into chapter 181, The Night of Despair. I do love the disparity between the real Iseult and this fake Iseult. Now that I think I have a general grip of the plot, notably, I did record the live reaction, ended up being like 25 minutes, and what I'm doing right now is I'm recording the review right after the live reaction, even though the latest two chapters are out. It's because I'm trying to give like as genuine a review to live reaction experience as possible. So I don't know if we have her name already, so depending on when you're watching this, take what I say with a grain of salt. But with that being the case, I don't know whatever her real name is, because it's not Iseult. We now know it's obviously not Iseult thanks to this chapter. But I do like the disparity between them. And I do like how there is slight similarity in spite of their disparity. They both seem to probably have the same hair color, but they stand opposite in almost every other way, from even eye shape. Like, look at that. Iseult has, like, full drawn eyes. This fake Iseult has tiny drawn eyes. Like, there's only the top part. There's, like, the antenna, or, like, I'm not sure what you call this hair, like, dual cowlick that this Iseult is going on. You know, Iseult just has, like, the half bangs going on. The real Iseult has long hair. This Iseult has short hair. This Iseult is tall. This Iseult is small. Like, ultimately, Nakaba did do a fantastic job of making these two characters opposed in every single sense. And even from a character writing perspective, as we'll see with this one's manipulation of Tristan, there is definitely levels to it. Devious and I didn't mean to do that! But devious and diabolical levels to it. Where the one Iseult loves Tristan genuinely for who he is, and what he's done for her. The other? Well, let's just say, she's here for a reason. And it's surely, well, technically, ironically enough, it is love. But let's not waste more time, let's get on to the chapter itself. So, we open up and we do get to see, right where we left off in chapter 180, Iseult, who am I? Anyway. Who are you? Where did that come from? You're Tantris, of course. You know that. And I ain't like, once again, your boy's never had amnesia. I never want to have amnesia. My memory is bad enough as it is. I cannot tell you what I ate for dinner 2 weeks ago. Can I? No. I mean, like, I've been eating the same thing. I've been looping. So it was probably some version of homemade honey walnut shrimp and maybe like a cookie. And I don't know, water and like some like sparkling water. Like, that's about it. So like, but that's a random guess and it's probably wrong. So if I had amnesia, like, especially like hardcore amnesia, and that's the big thing that I'll get into more. Tantris has amnesia. Like, he knows he has amnesia. And it's not like this fake Iseult is telling him he doesn't. She's just telling him that it doesn't matter. If I had amnesia and I was like trying to figure out about my past, and even someone I cared about in this new version of me told me, what? Where did that come from? You know what you are. You don't need to. Don't think. Don't look that. I'd probably get mad. I'd probably get really mad. But we see. Yes, I whispered Tantris as you were taking care of me. That and Iseult. which I presume meant you. I also have the vague recollection that I was on some great mission. So, this does confirm that essentially Tantris did not get wiped by Camelot. He didn't. In fact, it's confirmed that Tantris isn't even really mind wiped, quote unquote. He essentially just has a blanket thrown over his memories. Think of it like whenever you go to cover up a light or something. In fact, for example, think of it like this, where full memories Tantris is this, or full memories Tristan is this, full bright, you can see everything. But then current Tantris is this, where it's there. You see the slight bit of light shining through. He has a little bit of context. He has a little bit of memories. In fact, it's so sweet. It's so sweet that Iseult, is one true life. Like, man, Tantro or Tristold, or whatever the ship name is called. It's obviously Endgame. But essentially, that's what Tristan's mind is right now. There's a little bit of light eking and squeaking through. You can still see there's something there, but it's nowhere near as clear. And it's seemingly the light of his memories is burning up and burning away. Not just through our cast and crew reuniting with him, but we'll find out that this was an actual very consistent issue. So, let me take that back off before I accidentally burn this shirt. Would that be the case? I have a vague recollection that I was on some great mission, but that alone encompasses all my memories. So, the thing I like about this, it reminds me a lot of The Son of Neptune. For my Percy Jackson fans out there, it is crazy how old that book is, and by proxy, how old I am. That book is like near not 20, but it's very old at this point. But with it being the case, hold on. Let me just date myself real quick, because I remember when Son of Neptune came out, and my memory's bad. I remember when that boy came out. Son of Neptune. When did that novel drop? 2011? So it's been 14 years since Son of Neptune dropped, bro. I'm so out. I remember waiting for Blood of Olympus. I remember waiting for Mark of Athena. Oh, I remember reading Mark of Athena fanfiction. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry, I'm so old. But would that be the case? It reminds me of Son of Neptune in the sense that Percy had like two memories. One, his name. Kind of one and a half, how to fight, which he admits at the start of that book is mostly muscle memory. And three, his wife. Obviously, she's not his wife even yet in canon. It's been literal years upon years upon years upon years upon years, and they are not married. I think like the current book arc is like him trying to get into college. Like I think he's 18 finally, or he may still be 17. Like legitimately, for as long as Percy Jackson's been going on, Rick refuses to let that character age into adulthood. Like I'm getting mad, massive Spider-Man. Like please, give him a kid. Give me something, Rick. Give me something. I'm not fully caught up. Only recently, and by recently I mean like 2 years ago, I caught up on Trials of Apollo, which was actually a very good series. I do like that. But I am very behind on my Rick Riordan lore. I know the third book should be dropping this year or already dropped or something. Like I do forget. I know he only started writing more books because of the Percy Jackson Disney Plus series, which when is that going to come out? Because those kids are already looking way too old. Like that's the thing. Sorry, I'm going on a completely different tangent right now. But sorry, give me 5 seconds because I don't ever plan to talk about Percy Jackson on the channel again. I did a tier list forever ago, but again. But thing I don't get, why did they not make it animated? Why did they? Well, like I get it. Animation is frowned upon more. It's not taken as seriously as live action. But like of all the series, don't get me wrong. Especially in comparison to a lot of series that features gods and demigods, Percy Jackson definitely is more grounded than most. Like it's very tame considering what abilities these kids should have based on just direct idea of a demigod. Even if demigods in mythology typically are actually kind of weak. But why would you make that live action? Like I get it. Oh, you wanted age accurate kids. Those kids are now like 16. Like, when did season 1 drop? Like, 2 years ago? Like, they're gonna be adults before the third season is done. Why would you not make it animated? Because then if it's animated, it doesn't matter how old the actor... I mean, obviously, you could just get good voice actors, and then they'll be able to play kids or whatever. And then you can age them up progressively. Don't get me wrong, I love the live-action casting for Percy Jackson, but, like... I'm assuming that was a Disney choice. I mean, maybe Rick wanted it live action because I know he casted them personally. But like, that seemed like such a short-sighted decision. You would have to have recorded the whole series. Really, you would have to record up to the current run, like years later after the original series ended. You'd have to you have to film up to the current run just so those kids stay age accurate. Walker Scobell, Percy Jackson, he's huge. Because he had a growth spurt. Because he was 13 and now he's like 16. I think, or whatever, however old he is now, he's huge. Like, way too huge to still believe that he's, like, what, a 13-year-old, however old person he's supposed to be in, like, the second book. So, like, what was the plan? Like, interesting considering animation is so much cheaper. Like, sorry, I'm going down a completely different route. And don't worry, I'm going to get back to Four Knights in a second. I'm sorry. For all the two Percy Jackson fans who watch my Four Knights reviews, I hope you're enjoying it. But the thing about animation is it's also so much cheaper than, like, having to do all that live action junk. Don't get me wrong, I love live action to a degree. But, like, I'm definitely a pencil man, big animation guy. So, like, it's so much cheaper. Heck, even for reference, Dragon Ball Super Broly, a 2D animated film featuring some minor aspects of CG, cost $8 million to make. I think Dragon Ball Super Superhero cost like $100 million, because 3D animation is that much more expensive than just 2D animation with minor 3D. And then imagine adding realistic CG models to live film footage. Like, it takes so much more effort to make live action content, and especially considering the nature of the Percy Jackson series and how long it needs to run and how long it needs to go for, I genuinely think making that live action is the biggest mistake they ever made. But back to the chapter itself. Sorry, I went on a whole different tangent. But this is the thing that gets me. Tantris says, I don't even know why I have the power of healing light and painful darkness. I do. Now, this is a question. When he says painful here, do y'all think he refers to the pain of himself, or painful darkness as in the darkness's raw power allows him to inflict pain on others? What do y'all think? Because in my brain, it could be a little bit of both. It could be a little bit of both, because we know Tristan struggles to control his dark powers. But at the same time, whenever he uses them, especially once he loses control, he kind of gets on a high. Like, it's euphoric for him. Because notably, he's embracing half of his biology. Whether you think Tristan is biologically part goddess or not, if you think it's just an aspect of his soul that's infused with the goddess nature that allows him to use goddess abilities, kind of like how his mother is infused, even though technically, like the original series, apparently Elizabeth had, like, her soul literally starting to infect her human vessel to the point where she did actually have goddess DNA. So whether you think Tristan is half goddess or half human or quarter goddess or whatever, maybe that's it. Because it could make sense, because we know darkness does cause pain to non-demon species. So maybe he is genuinely feeling pain every time he uses it, but when he fully embraces it and fully embraces half of his biology, he does seem to enjoy it a whole lot. Like, he resists the pain, or he resists the euphoria it gives him, but I don't know. Painful darkness. But it could just be, the raw force and power that hurts others that he may not like, because once again, he's still a nice guy. But with it being the case, Iseult, or the fake Iseult, hits him with a bar, I don't know. To say this to an amnesiac, well, why do you need to know it all? You're just yourself. That's it. I want to know. I'm a person. Like, I don't know about y'all. In my opinion, this is going to clip the Kingdom Hearts fan of me is breaking out right now. In my opinion, you are a million, billion, duodecillion % defined by your memories, your experiences. Obviously, there are physical parts of you, but even then, that's defined by your experience too, in terms of like scarring and stuff like that, and like marks on your body, or even really the physical state of your body. You do have genetics. There are some people who are just naturally big, beefy, and strong, or lean and all that, but at least for who you are as a person, your ID, who you are, that's defined by your experiences, your memories, your ties, your beliefs. All that's locked away in your head. It's why when people become amnesiac, they're basically like a brand new person, because your memories, your experiences make up who you are. So to tell someone who doesn't know who they are, it doesn't matter. You're you. I don't even know who you is. Who is me? Who is I? Like, that would, if I was amnesia, I'd be like, you lucky I don't want to be the brain suffering for saying that game. Like, that is crazy. But with it being the case, we see Tantris is struggling with it. He says, but Kion, the man I fought today, he knew. He knew about this detestable force I have, the one I only use when I try to protect others, even if it makes me lose it all. See? Once again, that's why I went with the t-shirt analogy and like the covering light. He has no context for that, unless this is implying off-screen he was protecting Iseult in, this fake Iseult in Onfwin from different beasts, monsters, and creatures, which we do see him do, but we didn't see him do it in Demon Mark. We only got the Demon Mark reveal, as people point out, like nearly 99 or 100 chapters later. So we saw him defend her before, but not in Demon Mark. Clearly, he has memories of using this power before, this ability, this strength. What's going on? And it's because those memories are still there. They're just covered by a blanket. The light is it's shining through, it's breaking through, but it's not all the way there. And it's clear that this kind of scenario may or may not have happened before. As we see, the fake Iseult begins to sweat and get worried and grab onto him. And Oh no, first Tantra says, and the people who helped you out seem to know me too. And we see naturally the fake Iseult is seeing her control break and says, calm down, Tantris. You need to get some rest. And we see Tantris, he grabs onto her. He's like, but please, the Prince of Leonis, the seven deadly sins, these phrases, they keep ringing in my mind for some reason. It's telling me that maybe my name isn't Tantris, but Tantris. None of that matters at this point, does it? Calm down, all right? Look into my eyes. Oh, I'm sorry, Iseult. I got too excited. I was thinking maybe I could remember a little. And let me just go. El sarsa filame. Far sana. Shu malma. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't matter at all. As long as you and I remain together. That's enough. So what was hinted at last chapter is basically hard meat slapped on the table for everybody to hear and see. Yes, oh yes, oh yes. The fake Iseult is the core reason and the only reason Tristan lost his memories, believed he was Tantris, since he fell into Enfwin. It was not an aspect of the realm that did that, nothing. No, it is all this Iseult, very specifically using her magical abilities to suppress Tristan's memory. Now, admittedly, as some of y'all pointed out, she's kind of fodder, she's kind of booty meat. Gother would never fumble taking over somebody's mind. But still, I want y'all to realize how impressive this is. Unless it's revealed that this fake Iseult is like some super powerful, super trained mage or something, she's controlling who at current... Let's see, there's the four evils, there's Arthur himself, there's Lancelot, there's probably, I mean, it's debatable on whether who's stronger between Percival and Tristan right now. And then Elizabeth, Bon, King, Diane, that's 11. Possibly Gawain, once again, it's debatable. So 12. Gother, so 13. She's currently control. It depends if the Archangels have come back as well. We don't know if they're back, if they've resurrected yet. But essentially, at current, this random mortal human woman is mentally manipulating a top 15, top 20 character in the verse. Sure, he's in base, and as much as we clown on base Tristan, and God is Tristan, he's no sleeper. Don't sleep on him. That man's extremely powerful. So to be able to manipulate him at all, and only not immediately knock after manipulating him, but only feel fatigued, that's actually like a crazy magical feat for a random human. Remember, Tristan is a Nephilim. Demon, goddess, human hybrid. That man has more, like, base Tristan unironically violates season 1 and possibly a good chunk of season 2, depending on how you interpret his scaling, especially post-time skip. So, like, that level of raw power, she's doing good. She's doing good. But, of course, this is monstrous. This is devious. This is diabolical. But I'll get into why. Even if I don't agree with her methods, I can understand out of desperation why she would do something like this, at least if I'm right on something. Now, obviously, I'm currently recording this before I've read chapter 182 or 183, so maybe what I'm theorizing is just already been confirmed, so might be. But with it being the case, we see that Iseult, after being, tired out from using her mental manipulation magic, says, "Oh, I'm so glad. Let's just get out of Enfwin." And Tantris says, "I've got to win my next contest, no matter what." And we see Iseult says, "Oh, right, I have something in here for you." And she pulls out this. "Oh, this is for me? My father wore it when he was young. It may be a little too big for you." Speaking of a little bit too big, y'all, level with me real quick. I may be stupid, dumb, or not remember. I probably done something previous for you. But off the top of your dome piece, no thinking, no clicking, no nothing. Don't look it up yet. How tall is Meliodas? Big Mel. I know Big Mel's a lie because the man's 5 foot. 5 foot flat. 5 foot flat. Right? Think about that. Now, you may have already known that, but a topical question. How tall is Elizabeth? Yeah, Elizabeth Leonis, current human body, all that. You wondering? I didn't know that, so I had to look it up. She's 5'4". 5'4". That's how tall Elizabeth is. We on the same page? Y'all, how tall do you think Tristan is? That's all. What you thinking? Oh, you know, got a 5'4" mother, got a 5' father. You know, maybe he's like 5'5", 5'6". That man is 5'9". He's 5'9". He's 5. I can't even display. Well, I can. He's 5'9". Am I the only one who's blown away by that? Like, I know that maybe it's underestimating, but like, darn, that's crazy. And of course, I'm taller than both of my parents, but both of my parents are tall. Like my dad's nearly 6 foot. He's like 5'11", and then my mom's like 5'8". So naturally, I popped out 2 feet tall. But with that being the case, I don't get. But that's crazy. You know his granddaddy's genes, and I specifically say his granddaddy solo because we don't know what Meliodas' mom looks like. Presumably, she was short the way Meliodas popped out. But we know his granddaddy's gene we're carrying. And the reason I don't say Elizabeth's genes we're carrying is because unless her goddess soul came with DNA that infused into her body to link Tristan back to his grandmama, the supreme deity, the human Elizabeth incarnation we see was born of some random human woman and man who we don't know what they look like or how tall they were. So like, him being 5'9" at 18, and once again, I'm not sure. I'm just looking on the wiki. I'm not sure if that's his pre-time skip height or if we've gotten a new height for him, because he was 4'7" at the end of Seven Deadly Sins, so he was only 5 inches shorter than his dad then. Then he was 5'5" in Grid of Edinburgh, and now it just says he's 5'9" in Four Knights of the Apocalypse. But that doesn't say pre or post time skip. He may be even taller. So like, them ancient Demon King genes, they're kicking in, gosh darn it, more than they ever did for Mel and Zell. But sorry, that blew me away when I figured that out. But with that being the case, we see that she says, "Oh, but your outfit did get ripped today." So she's using this as an excuse to get him put it on. You know, his outfit got torn up, so he needs something to cover up. He can't just be showing off the rippling abs at all times. Though admittedly, I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. If I ever do manage to get visible abs, I'm taking every single excuse to pop the shirt off. Like, if I'm at the beach, shirt off. If I'm at a water park, shirt off. If I'm okay, not in public. Like that's why I'm not walking around shirtless. But like, I won't go on shirtless runs either. I mean, I give credit to everyone who does do that. Even the people who aren't in shape or the people who aren't in super good shape. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going on. I'm not ripping the shirt off and going for a run. Never did that. Even in my like peak physical health track and field days when we were allowed to take shirt off, I was like, you know what? No, I think I'll give it off. I mean, your boy's never been in shape. But never other excuse. If it's like a scenario where I'm ripping the shirt off, man, I'm showing off the abs. Man. But I ain't got abs just yet. We're working on it. We got fabs. We got fat abs. I promise they're there, but they're still buried under a layer of fat. So give me a bit. Give me a couple more months. But with it being the case, we see he got the abs out, and thusly he can't have them. And then we see Tristan or Tantris realize, your papa, what's he like? I wonder. Psst. Huh? My papa? How cute. Well, why did I say papa? Because that's what you call your dad. What do you all? Well, for those who are lucky enough to have fathers, what do you call your dad? Typically, the most consistent thing I call him now is Baba. I do bring up different names for him. I call him progenitor. I call him originator. I call him source of spawn. Like I call him a whole bunch of different things. But the main thing I do refer to him now as, because the word daddy has been ruined for me eternally. But I used to call him daddy. Now I call him Baba. Not dada, not nothing. Not daddy, not dad, nothing. I call him Baba. So what do you call your dad? Let me know. But what do you call your mom? I typically just refer to her as mama or mother. Like I don't know. That's basic. I don't have any like special terms for her. And like, it always feels weird calling her Spawn Point, because like that, I mean, it's accurate unironically, but like, it's so weird. I don't really do that. Like, yeah, in comparison to my father, who I like to mess around with more because he's more serious, I don't really have too many alternate names for my mother. It's mother or mommy or mama. Like that's it. But typically, once again, the word mommy has been ruined as well, so I don't call her that either. But let me know, what do you call your parents? But we see Tristan is actually a little bit confused on why he said papa, but once again, it's because that's what he calls his daddy. So like I mentioned, those memories, they're just heavily suppressed under her magic application. But we see a certain little something. Oh, he was a proud man, harsh on himself, but always nice to me. Oh, he was? But is it really okay to use your papa's armor? And we see the fake Iseult admit, oh, it's fine. He's no longer with us anyway. So, this is a deep reach, and I'm not sure. I'm something tells me, because this always happens whenever I've been behind, because I've been behind on Four Knights and other series before. Whenever I go to theorize something in advance, it'll get confirmed like the next chapter I missed, or the chapter I'm behind on, or the chapter after that. So I bet it's already confirmed, but from this armor, to her being in Enflin and the parallels that she has with another very weak character that we'll see later on in this chapter. And something real specific, this sword hilt. I think her daddy's Beltreat. I don't know where her mom is in this scenario, but I think her daddy's Beltreat. And I think what happened was Beltreat, he got the chaos boost, lost all care for her. She lost faith in Camelot and then fell into Enflin. And she's specifically getting Tristan to wear this armor, the armor from his youth, in order to have Beltreat possibly remember something. Will it work? I doubt it. Once again, it seems like the chaos magic stuff runs deep. Ironside looked Diodora directly in the face and was like, "Who are you? Get out of my home!" So I think she's cooked regardless. But let's see. Oh, and then we cut away to our main cast and crew for a little bit as everyone's munching and gabbing and laughing and having a good old time, and tells Percival, Percival, please don't hold a grudge against him for today. Which I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna be real with y'all. If a guy ran up on me, was talking a whole bunch of smack, thought he was that guy, then I laid him out, and then suddenly, mystically, magically, his homies jump me, all because you want to get back for your daddy, who's a terrible person. I don't care if you got a sad backstory or not. Hold the grudge. Get my lick back. Gosh darn it. I know. Gawain already got her lick back for Anne through pummeling turret, and also wrote this got beat by Nasian. So, like, the lick back has already been fully restored. They are even, but Anne's way more mature than me. I'm a full grown man. I am older than Anne right now. Anne's 18. I am older than Anne. But she's way more mature, because to tell him not hold a grudge, run the man's pocket. But with it being the case, we see that Percival's like, "Oh, you mean Diodora?" And Nasian's actually asks, being a little bit petty like your boy, being like, "Oh, why not? After all the terrible things he did." Though admittedly, like they should know at this point it was turret. Though we see that Anne says, "Look, I saw how angry you got for my sake. It made me really glad, even." How many of y'all got wrists like Percy? Huh? How many of y'all pulling like Percy? How many of y'all pulling? How many of y'all double? How many of y'all PPing up? Pulling like Percy. PLP. Because I sure ain't. But like, Percy, he got a list of. He got Gareth. He got a 2-for-1 special with Gareth. He's got Dareth as well. He's got Anne. He's got Nasian. He's gonna keep racking them up. We ain't even at the 200 chapter mark, and he just got them falling all over. He moving like that. But with it being the case, we see that Anne says something interesting. "But me too. I threw all my emotions at him without knowing his situation. I don't think Ironside's been telling his son about his misdeeds. In fact, it seems like he's a good dad to Diodora." Which is very likely true. Notably, I don't even blame, okay, obviously Ironside's a very bad person, and due to being a very bad person, I don't feel too bad for him. But I need to go back and explain why I don't like, while I do not like what the fake Iseult is doing, I'm not necessarily overly mad at her. But for this case in particular, I don't think he tells us something about his misdeeds. I get why Ironside wouldn't do that. Like, you don't, like, and like, typically I don't have kids, but like, whenever my younger nieces and nephews ask, "Hey, Uncle Pencil, what's work like?" I'm like, "Work is fine. I'm okay. Bills are paid. I'm good." I'm not going to explain to them my job. Not because they do terrible things. I'm like, you don't need to worry about that. I'm just here. I'm here to be your uncle in this moment, or your cousin, or whatever. Like that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to explain the complicated nature of my work to you. Like that's not what I'm here for. And I feel like that's the same thing for Ironside. But of course, it's worse because he slaughters people. He slaughters people in mass. So I completely understand Ironside wanting to keep a pure image of himself for Diodora, his one and only son. His one and only son. But with it being the case, real quick, I mentioned how I don't agree with her methods, but I do understand this Iseult. It's solely because if I rent, and once again, it's implied maybe here that she doesn't even have a mother. She doesn't mention her mother. She only mentions her father here. Of course, she's bringing up his armor, but it's possible that she, like Diodora, doesn't have a mom. And only had her father. And then lost her, if this is Beltreat, of course, lost her father to Camelot. And obviously he rejected Camelot and ended up in Enflin. And clearly, she herself is not that physically capable. She has this mental manipulation magic, but if it truly does require eye contact on every single level, that's the reason she was able to get Tantris in the first place, because he was injured and wasn't able to fight back or resist. So presumably her abilities don't work on anybody else. And she really wants her dad back. And if I didn't have my mother, and I saw my father, assuming once again this is Beltriep, assuming the logical leap that she lost Beltriep and wants to get him back by any means necessary, I don't condone it, but I do kind of understand it. It's you and your own personal values versus the values of somebody else and their own freedom, right? It's that willingness and desire to care for yourself first. It's like how on airplanes, whenever they say help you before you help somebody else, that's kind of this Iseult situation here, where she wants to help herself before she helps Tristan. If she ever wants to help Tristan at all, she clearly doesn't. She wants to use him as a tool. So that's wrong. It's devious. It's diabolical. It's despicable. But I do kind of get it. And we're going to see a very similar case here very soon. As Anne says, but something happened to Ironside. And I think he blames you, Percival, and the rest of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse. He was fighting so hard, so oblivious to everything. I can't help but feel a little bad for him. So that's the thing. Diodora, he's in a real rough spot, just like generally in life. And obviously, when you've never known anybody, lived in a very sheltered world with the only information coming from a father that you loved, and then you lose the only source of information and are forced to struggle and strive for something better in this creation. It's really hard, and it's really difficult to work things out. And we see, as we cut over to Diodora, Turret, and Rothis, Turret ain't looking all too hot. It ain't nobody came to heal that man. Hauser, he got bullied and body bagged by Ballin, but at least Big Ballin allowed him to be healed. Turret, since he was a very meanie stupid head, he didn't get the same courtesy, and he's currently feeling I'm honestly shocked his face isn't still fully imprinted, but he lost teeth, he's beat up, one of his eyes is welded shut, like that man went through it. And obviously Diodora doesn't help at all by saying, are you okay, Turret? I'm sorry about how your match went. Like, I get it, it's so genuine for Diodora. Once again, he just doesn't have much human life experience, but like, if I saw someone like that, I wouldn't ask, are you okay? Clearly not. Clearly. What? If I saw someone with a black eye, I know they're not okay. He doesn't have a black eye. He has a black... There's no way to phrase that in the next part of that sentence. It doesn't sound really, really bad. He's beat up very badly, so he's not okay. But with it being the case, Diodora says, oh, but I'll fight hard for you both tomorrow. So, chin up, okay? Diodora, once again, trying to be a leader, trying to be like his father, trying to at least instill hope or faith in those who follow him. And we see that Diodora tries to make up for the fact that he asked the very beaten and bruised man if he's okay by saying, oh, I know. I'll get some food for you. And Rothis says, oh, okay, I'll go along too then. But Turret does not allow him to leave. He says, Rothis, you stay here. And Diodora doesn't wait for Rothis to come along. He just goes on his own. And we see that Rothis asks, hey, what are you being so testy for? And for two people who may be brothers, or have at least known each other for all their lives, or at least a long portion of it, why do you think he's testy, Rothis? This is the same thing that Diodora did. Oh, are you okay, Turret? Oh, are you being so testy, Turret? The man doesn't have a functioning face. He's missing teeth. Like, I would not. I'd be testy too, gang. Honestly, it's impressive that he's able to speak without like fumbling all his words. The tongue of the stolen tongue. No, that's that. He doesn't have any teeth. Like, that sucks. But of course, we see Turret is He's angry. He says, why did we get so disgraced? And we see that Rothis explains, well, because you doubted Camelot. You resented it, even if just for a moment. You were thinking, why is Sir Ironside gone mad over these trifling Knights of Prophecy? Why won't His Majesty fix him up? Which is hilarious. And once again, it's a beautiful thing of having author perspective or reader perspective. We know that it wasn't even, like, you can't expect Arthur to fix him up because it was Arthur who ruined him in the first place. Oh, ain't that beautiful. But with it being the case, it's shown that they did not get here of their own free will. I initially thought they ended up in Anfoin very specifically by Diodora's own request, so they could get access to the Wish in order to try and help Ironside. Which obviously never was going to work, but they didn't know that. But no, all three of them fell into Anfoin because of their doubting of Camelot. showing that even if you have been a loyal Camelot resident for literally your entire life, or a majority of it, even the slightest moment of doubt will cast you into a literal prison realm, which is devious and diabolical. But we see that Turret admits, "Yes, I know. I can't believe how stupid I was to think that. Even if you think about it, the only thing Sir Ironside's forgotten about is his idiot son." You look at that. The true colors are revealed. But then again, we already saw that Turret was already very rough on Rothus himself, not to talk of Diodora, who admittedly so far has proven pretty ineffective on his own. And we see Rothus get very angry and say, "Whoa, Turret, that's going too far. You're acting like, so what if I am? I wish it was only that worthless fool who fell into Onfwin." And then he gets gripped up. And Rothus declares, "Aren't you the one who's letting himself go crazy? Huh? It's our job to support Sir Diodora. We have to, if he's ever going to get his father's memories back." And of course, man, look at how badly brutalized Turret is. Turret says, "Think about it, Rothus. Who picked us up as holy war orphans and taught us how to fight? Huh? Sir Ironside is like a father to us. Or like a god, even." Doing his voice hurts a little bit, so I'm going to take a little sip. Don't mind me. My apologies. Stay hydrated, folks. Did you drink water today? Drink your water. But with it being the case, we're getting context, getting lore. Rothus and Turret are not simply hired help. They are very specifically holy war orphans that Ironside found after the Diodora incident. Now, why is this relevant? One, because it shows why Four Knights is such a good sequel series. It takes the aspect of the Holy War and has fundamentally tied it into all of our characters. Our main character only exists as he does because of the Holy War and its ramifications. These two characters only exist in the way they do because of the Holy War and its ramifications. Ironside was only here, out in the realm of Britannia, presumably recruiting people to fall to Camelot because of the Holy War. And that's beautiful. Some sequel series will really fumble the bag. For something as major an event as the Holy War was, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that happened. Here's one character whose backstory ties into it. Bye." No, every single character, down to our main villain to our MC, are both Arthur himself, all the four evils, well, maybe not Worldane, she seems a little freaky, but all the four evils, and Percy and our whole crew, they are all affected by the impacts and ramifications of the Holy War, which is fantastic. And seeing Rothus and Turret, two side characters, also be affected by it, and that be the whole point of their existence in the narrative, chef's kiss. That's beautiful work by Nagama. Beautiful work. What's it? Nagama can cook. He's just weird. He's just weird. I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to sugarcoat him. I'm not going to. Yeah, he's just a weirdo. Nagama's strange. Nagama's strange. I love him. He's a fantastic writer and author and artist. But he's a weird fella. But with it being the case, we're getting context and history behind Turret and Rothus. A very twisted context and history. That's why I've been serving him all these years. I never sought anything in return, either. Oh, and one thing I had to give Nagama credit for. This is exposition. This is just straight exposition about these two characters, but it feels really organic based on the situation. That's the thing. Sometimes you can tell it's a little forced. Hey, even I struggle with this. As I'm writing for example, for the story I'm writing, which will not come out for forever, so my bad. But in the story I'm writing, a big thing I'm struggling with is setting up the relationships between characters that happened before the series started. All four of my main characters in my little universe that I've created, they all have deep interconnected ties to different aspects of their world. They just do. But because of that, the big thing I'm trying to do is build in their connections and make them feel organic. Have them interact with characters they already know from before the book as organically as possible, based on how friends, or like friends so close they're basically siblings, or anything like stuff like that, or aunties and uncles that aren't actually aunties and uncles. I'm trying to make that as organic as possible, and Nagama is doing a fantastic job of giving us exposition about Turret and Rilla's backstory in a way that feels organic. Like in any other context, Rothus or Turret dropping their entire backstory feels random. But right now, he's trying to convince Diodora to do, or not Diodora, convince Rothus to do something devious, diabolical even. Thusly, he's trying to remind Turret, or to remind Rothus of their past, their role, their place, and get him to be a little bit more amicable and maybe agreeable to a deep, dark, devious act. And we see that Turret declares,
"But Diodora, that idiotic waste of space! Just because he's Sir Ironside's actual son, he's constantly received all of his unconditional love. And I know you've thought it too. You've thought that we deserve to be his sons far more than that. Failure. Who does Sir Ironside really need? What's our true mission here? It's not to clean up the messes that Claude makes."
So, what do you want me to do? So this is crazy. What the thing is that I like though, I can completely understand their absolute loyalty, fealty, and even fatherly viewership of Ironside. Once again, the Holy War ravaged Britannia. It was vicious and horrific. Even the small amounts of ravaging that we see it do in the original series is clear and evident. So for them to be taken in and given the life of their dreams with someone that they love and care for, I get that. And remember, their only job was ever to support Diodora. Obviously, Ironside himself never needed protection or training. It was simply Diodora. So their entire lives have been based around this guy who, in their mind, has conflicted with them in terms of actually being his son. If Diodora didn't exist and Ironside simply adopted them, they'd be his kids. They wouldn't even be his servants, probably. They'd just be his adopted children. But Diodora, being the biological son of Ironside, has always gotten in the way. Has always messed with what could have been. And ultimately, he's dragged them both down. They only both got beaten today because of Diodora's own weakness. And they only got put in this scenario because Diodora existed in the first place. Diodora is the root cause of all the problems that stem out from Ironside not loving them. So now, given an opportunity, free of that man that they love and care for, caring for his son, his one biological son, a certain means, metric, and motive has presented itself. A certain opportunity. And we see that he was given an order, an opportunity. As people chatter and laugh and have a good old time here in Onfwin, we see Diodora receive food from one of these freaky little guys who are apparently very good. Honestly, this is gonna sound crazy. I low-key would want to try some Onfwin food, guy. like if I could teleport in for 5 seconds and just try it, I don't know. I feel, why do I feel like it bangs? Why do I feel like it bangs? I feel like the food's gas. I don't know why. The way these people are eating it, obviously they have no other option. But like, I feel like the food could be gas. I don't know. That chaos food goes chaos crazy. But who knows? It could end up being like a Greek underworld thing where like once you eat the food of a place, you're trapped there forever. So if that's the case, then I don't want to eat it. But of course, we see Diodora grabbing food, and we see that Rothus shows up and says, "Oh, let me help you, Sir Diodora." And Diodora's happy but shocked to see, "Oh, Rothus. I'm sure that Turret hates my guts right now, huh?" And naturally, being a little paranoid, Rothus asks, "Oh, what makes you think so?" "Oh, I know. He's been irritated at me for a long time." So, Diodora, while innocent, naive, and trustworthy, clearly is able to read people to some degree. He knows that ultimately Turret never really liked him. And that leads him to being honest with himself and with Rothus. "I can't do anything at all without you two. Even today, I would have lost if it weren't for you." And Rothus says, "Well, we're just doing our job." And Diodora says, "Oh, no need to act so distant. You're kind of like a brother to me, Rothus." A brother. An adopted brother. A big brother, I guess, since you're older. "You've always been there for me. I've never felt lonely. Friends or not. With my uncle dead and my father forgetting about me, you're the only one who understands me now." And we see Rothus say, "Sir Diodora. Wait, was it this way? There's nobody around here." The food, the drinks, they splatter uselessly against the ground. I'm sorry. What? The food falls again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Turret said you'd keep your guard down around me. We'll be good sons in your place. All right. The uncle I loved for so many years was murdered. My kindly father has forgotten about me. The one friend I had wasn't my friend at all. Snap. His hands fall limp to the side. His eyes roll back in his head. And with that, Diodora dies. Y'all remember what this chapter's called? Night of Despair? I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Golly gee willikers, fellas, let me tell you. Golly. Now, what are my thoughts on this chapter? Peak, one of the best chapters Nanga's ever written. And you'd be like, whoa, why is that? Because I understand every evil action. I get it. And of course, the Iseult one is mostly just headcanon so far. I don't know. That sword hilt looks like Beltreep's sword, the sword he still wields, so it could be Beltreep, or it could not be. But regardless, if my motivations that I'm gleaming from the fake Iseult are real, even if I don't agree with her methods, I get them. And while I cannot fathom, because I was lucky enough to grow up with two loving parents and a loving family, I can only imagine the kind of mental turmoil and struggle and strife that these two have gone through. And now with nothing about them but defeat and failure and the sting of absolute uselessness and their own weakness lingering in their bodies, and the opportunity they may never get again before them, even if it comes at the murder of one that they have cared for all these years. If he's truly only been a stopgap in their lives, truly only been a net negative, something that only made their lives worse, well, of course, why wouldn't they take this chance? Why wouldn't they set themselves free? So like, that's the thing, and that's why I say this is one of my favorite chapters, because Nakaba made all three of the Camelot crew, I call them the Camelot crew because they're the evil Camelot crew, they made them all make terrible, horrific, malignant decisions this chapter, but I understand them all. I understand them all, and while I cannot find myself agreeing with them, I cannot say I do the same thing in their place. I'm not in their place. I'm not. I can't empathize. I can only attempt to sympathize, and I can somewhat understand it. And that's beautiful. Now, of course, is Diodora actually dead? Presumably not. I haven't read the next two chapters. I haven't read 182 or 183. But something tells me the main character's brother is not getting raditzed. I can almost smell it. So something's going to happen. What that something is, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, presumably, like, I don't know, I'm going to try and post, like, all three reviews. I'm recording live reaction and review, live reaction and review, live reaction and review. So hopefully, all the videos will be up today. I did a whole bulk recording thing yesterday where I dropped, like, like darn near 20 chapters worth of videos yesterday, but like I'm trying to do full reviews for these, so it just looks better on the playlist and looks more even. So overall, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave snap, crackle, and pop. Shout out to all my Rice Krispie fans. But leave snack, crackle, and pop in the comment section down below. I did thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you do have a Patreon down below, or use more me for as low as $1, get them on, down and things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions you have this series having to review, including the 25-minute live reaction to this very chapter, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Greyhound, Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier, XZ, G Prosper, Zeta, and Brandon Payne. Then I'd like to give a little thank you to our line art tier patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, and A+A. And then I'd like to give a huge thank you to our ink tier members: Fine, Austin Wimberly, Euchiha, Yuki Ally, and Carlo Alaimo. Then I'd like to give a gargantuan thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our colored art tier patron: Waki Minos, and iDemoKami. Then I'd like to give a final legendary top of the line thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, the glorious king, Calvin Elder.